kama glass tunagonganisha, sai sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai sai kama mzuka tunapagawisha, sai 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 kama glass tunagonganisha, sai sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai sai kama mzuka tunapagawisha, sai 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 kama si sai si dai, kama ni mboy si bai, kama na seti ni ngwai, pamza baadaye si dai, kama ni sai naitaka sai sai, makali napiga kachai, sina deni ndo ninajidai, ziko wapi marizo lai, plaga nafika tisai, says meshika design, Manchester ndo mina dai, seso lenza rogalini, sai 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 seso tajama kalini, sai 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 kama kufanya nafanya kamini, sijali ni nini unasema nani, kama ni kuja miujiza kajini, na wakanyaga kanyasi nani, shari manyoya ni pen, doba ni kali na bang, na wanyuri na swag, bado na stack the bag, kama glass tunagonganisha, sai sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai sai kama mzuka tunapagawisha, sai 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 kama glass tunagonganisha, sai sai kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai sai kama mzuka tunapagawisha, sai 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 medondoka mati donda utiaji nanka ako maji ama tu ni mrazi, mbogi na ngoja nifike sai, jumboke mevai tupige sai, jump imeshika walai, nana nisenkita dai sai,
Saisa acha siasa, si ulisema unafika sai,
sai 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 robo dakika nafika sai, nimejipin jaba na steam mavelo kibon mejaza kwa tin, mali ni fit kitu legit, shukisha curtain safisha scene, rada ni clean basora medin, me and my team we in it to win, shari manyoya ni peng, doba ni kali na bang, na wanyuri na swag, bado na stack the bag, kama glass tunagonganisha, sai sai da tunafuatana,
Happy Friday.
sai sai
You guys are doing amazing today.
gawisha, sai sai
2 minutes past the top of the hour.
sai sai
Week has been fantastic. We've made to the end of the week.
kama wada tunafuatanisha, sai sai
My name is Joby Tutuso here for the first time.
sai sai
The Pan-African Bliss,
sai
the media of the 21st century. That's what you're listening to.
Feel the goodness.
Yes, and of course, karibuni sana. I hope you guys are doing amazing this wonderful Friday. Hope your week has been fantastic. And of course, wishing you a beautiful, beautiful weekend ahead. And karibuni sana to another beautiful conversation. To everyone who's with us for the first time on all our YouTube channels, on BitChute, and of course on the radio station, returning listeners on all our streaming platforms. Today, we're going to be talking about what is happening in Nigeria, as literally they're looking forward to be adding the Chinese language as part of their senior secondary curriculum. So karibuni sana as it delve deeper into that. We're going to be also talking about what they're doing with signing a deal with the UK to receive the deported asylum seekers. This is after we can see Rwanda actually has taken the UK to court, demanding $125 million compensation after the UK abruptly cancelled their 2022 migrant relocation deal. Much more coming from Nigeria. They have also signed another deal still with the UK, and this is I'd say 1 billion literally exports deal to fund the modernizing of 2 of the Nigerian main seaports, and more coming also right here from the 254. More coming from Gambia. We can see the ex-president is being investigated for, of course, his wealth and misspending, of course, or stealing the public funds. That is about 47 billion Kenyan shillings, and much more. We're going to be discussing about Zambia, which has accepted a loan from the World Bank a few weeks after we saw they did refuse or reject a deal that the US was offering, some funds that was being allocated that was supposed to cover so many things, including health and so much. But we're going to start with something very interesting before we get into that. A video that is going viral currently from Tanzania. And this is a young man who is talking about how he's been living. He's actually born and raised in Tanzania, and currently the government, because this is something that has been happening where Samia Suluhu has been stealing, just like Ruto, just like the rest of the puppets, taking lands from people who have been long existing in them, and even to the point of scrapping the title deed ownership that you have and claiming that that is a fake one and you need to actually renew it. So there's a group of the Kikuyu people. I don't know that part of history, and of course I'm gonna share if I find any article just as we continue. There's a group of the Kikuyu people that went to Tanzania, that is back during the colonization in Kenya. And the group of people literally settled in Tanzania. So the young man is one among the group of, or the generation of those group of the Kikuyu people. And he said he's born and raised in Tanzania, but apparently right now he's being told he doesn't belong there. And the video is going viral because it reflects back here in Kenya. And not just that, but also I feel like for me, I'm looking at it in the problem we have when it comes to other people settling in other African countries. Why is it always a problem? The fact that we've accepted this white man's rule to keep on dictating our daily lives, it's super crazy. But I don't want to waste much time. I'm going to dwell into it literally. So I'm going to just start the video itself. But before we get into that, kindly get yourself the organic supplements we have on our BHFN Sports page. And of course, you can find that by downloading the app on the Google Play Store. So allow me to share some brain and focus formula, the benefit it comes with. And we're going to be back after this short advert.
Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
And of course, in case you have any question or finding any difficulty on purchasing the product, kindly ensure you email us at kcnews15@gmail.com. But as we get straight to it, let me share this video. I'm going to translate where translation is needed.
Kabila yangu ni Mkikuyu. Babu yangu alikuja mwaka 1100.
So the problem we have, number one, as Africans, we have the self-identity with tribalism. That is the first problem we have as Africans. Instead of saying, number one, I'm even Kenyan or I'm Tanzanian, he started by saying, I'm a Kikuyu. And that's the problem. The white people are taking advantage of even till today to keep us separated because we've accepted self-identity through tribalism or tribe, which is super crazy.
992 baada ya uhuru wa Tanzania. Na ndio mwanzilishi wa kanisa la Waadventista wa Sabato hapa Mpanda. Lakini nimekuwa nikisumbuliwa na maafisa usalama na hivyo kukosa haki ya kumiliki kiwanja changu. Na hivyo kila nikienda ardhi wananisukumia niende kwa watendaji. Na watendaji nao wanasema leta namba ya NIDA, na namba ya NIDA sina. Lakini hata hivyo ninacho kipalata wanasema hakitoshi. Kwa hiyo eneo langu linaonekana kama vile nimezulumiwa. Na nimeletewa barua za kisheria niondoke katika eneo hilo ninaloishi kwa sababu mpango mji ulinikuta hapa.
Ni eneo gani?
Ni Kasimba Misengeleni.
Afisa ardhi, unalifahamu hili jambo? Anasema mlimkuta.
Mheshimiwa Waziri Mkuu, huyu bwana kama alivyojitambulisha ni Mkikuyu, sio Mtanzania.
Exactly. So the number one problem, the Tanzanian, so this is a Tanzanian official, and just like the young man is explaining, he's born and raised in Tanzania. And his late father, when he died, of course, left him the land that they acquired in Tanzania through the legal way, not just going and grabbing lands like the white people, the way they do come and settle. They got the land in the right procedure and they settled in Tanzania. So he is a born and raised Tanzania, which of course, if you're born in a country or another country, that makes you a citizen. That is something that is known. If I'm born in Uganda, that makes me a Ugandan, despite my mom being a Kenyan or my dad being a Kenyan. I am a Ugandan because I'm born there and raised there. But the problem, again, we have, like I said, is the self-identification when it comes to, or how we identify ourselves. We start with tribalism. And that's why you can see even the Tanzanian government itself cannot even, or these officials cannot even defend him, because the first thing he first said was, I'm a Kikuyu, not a Tanzanian, not even a Kenyan. He first said, I'm a Kikuyu, which is a problem. But we continue because this guy is saying that he shouldn't be there in the first place because he's a Kikuyu, not a Tanzanian. So the fact that we keep on putting this as a tag of our identification, it has gotten to the point where, again, Africans living with fellow Africans from different countries is becoming a problem. Slowly and sadly, it's happening as we accept the white man to settle in our land. Doesn't make sense.
Kwa mujibu wa sheria za ardhi za Tanzania, ardhi inamilikiwa na Watanzania. Kwa hiyo,
so he's saying according to the law, the land, anything, especially when you talk about assets, they're supposed to be only acquired and belong legally to Tanzanians only. So if you're not a Tanzanian, anything, any asset you get there doesn't belong to you. So I don't know which part of the law is this. Let's continue.
Kigezo kimojawapo hicho ndo kimemtoa.
Hebu tuambie, yeye sio raia?
Babu yangu alipewa uraia na CCM. Alikuwa raia kabisa na alikuwa mwanachama na alikuwa na kadi ya chama. Alitoka Kenya, walikuja Wakikuyu wengi sana hapa, wakina mzee Mwangi. Mmoja hapo mzee Mwangi ana guest hapo. Anamiliki guest. Bahati mbaya ameshafariki. Na Wakikuyu baadhi nimeona wako hapo, wanaweza kaja kutoa ushahidi. Kwa hivyo sasa haki yangu ya kumiliki ardhi imekuwa ni shida. Kila nikienda huku wananisukuma, nikienda huku wananiambia. Jana nimeenda kwa mtendaji ananiambia nenda polisi. Nikasema mimi siendi polisi kwa sababu nina document za nyumba na ardhi.
Wewe ni raia?
Mimi ni raia kwa sababu ni mzaliwa, ni raia wa kuzaliwa. Nimezaliwa hapa. Na nimezaliwa Kasimba. Na watu wote wananifahamu. Wewe ni mzaliwa, mimi ni raia mzaliwa. Ila cheti cha uraia sina. Ndio maana nimekuja kutoa maamuzi kama ni ya kunisafirisha kuniondoa nchini.
He says, according to the law and the way he understands the system works, if you're born and raised in a country, that makes you a citizen, which is very true. I know for Africa that works. And of course, America, I think that's the only recent country that has scrapped away those type of deals. Trump said we're no longer going to be recognizing this as part of what can make you a citizen. But I know in Africa, personally, I'll say in Kenya, if you're born and raised here, despite your parents being Ugandans or Tanzanians, that makes you a Kenyan. If you stay here more than 7 to 10 years, that makes you officially a citizen of this country, and you are eligible to get an identification card, that is the ID, to make you officially recognized as the citizen of Kenya. No matter where you go, you have the ID, right? You can get the passport, you can get the birth certificate. Now those procedures continue so long as you have the ID. But it's crazy. This is so crazy. So he's saying the fact that he understands that, and the fact that he comes from a generation of the Kikuyu people who moved in Tanzania and they got land legally, he doesn't understand why the system or the Tanzanian government is trying to kick him out, and is openly talking about it so he can actually let it be known to also fellow Africans probably who are settling in Tanzania what dangers are ahead of you. I believe that's actually what we're getting here, because Samia Suluhu has been taking lands of so many people, even Tanzanians themselves, leave alone even Kenyans who moved there. She's taking lands of Tanzanians themselves, people who have been owning lands for over 40 years, 50 years, and giving it all the way back to Chinese people. The same thing we can see Ruto giving to the Israelites settling here. This is super crazy. And then now we go back to how our system of this continent has been set, and we've accepted of literally thinking we're different people. So if I come settle in Uganda, that doesn't make me a citizen. If I go settle in Tanzania, that it doesn't. I'm not supposed to own property because I'm not a citizen of there. It's crazy.
Hapa niko tayari kuondoka kwa sababu
wewe ni raia.
Yeah, so he says he's ready to leave, and the other official keeps on insisting, are you a Kenyan? I mean, are you a Tanzanian citizen? And he just said, yes, I'm born and raised here. I'm born and raised here, so that makes me a Tanzanian citizen. By law, that does make me a citizen, but they want him out.
mimi ni raia mzaliwa. Ni raia mzaliwa.
Una kitambulisho cha taifa?
Kitambulisho cha taifa sijakipata, nimeshaenda kujiandikisha lakini sikipati.
Okay, so the same problem is addressing the same problems we see Zambians, Ugandans facing when they're also in Kenya. So is despite him being born in Tanzania, this is quite I'd say an aged person. I think he looks like probably in his mid-30s, probably. Looks like 30 just by looking, right? But he says despite being born and raised in Tanzania, he went and applied for an identification card, which officially makes you recognized no matter where you go, the citizen of that country, but he has never gotten it. He keeps on going back to check it because, of course, especially when you have businesses, when you're a foreigner and working in this country, the police are going to be harassing you. The police are always going to be on your case. Some citizens who are very illiterate are always going to be on your case. So despite him being born and raised in Tanzania, crazy, he still hasn't gotten an identification card till to date.
Nimejiandikisha karibu mara mbili. Ofisi ya kata ile.
He has registered more than twice and still they have not processed his documents.
Leo nataka nipate uamuzi wa kuondoka.
So he wants people to tell him, he wants literally with the people being there and the fact that Samia Suluhu is among the crowd, let me know, does this make me not literally a citizen completely? The fact that you're taking away my land, I can't get an ID. Should I go back to Kenya? Is that what you're telling me?
Aya, nimekupata. Ninyi mkoa huu, mkoa wa Katavi na mikoa jirani, tuna mambo ya kihistoria yanayohusiana na masuala ya uraia. Lakini naomba kwa sababu nilisha kuwa waziri wa mambo ya ndani nifafanue mambo machache tu. Moja, nisikilize vizuri ndugu yangu. Jina unaitwa nani?
Haruni John Mlaguli, lakini babu yangu naitwa Haruni John.
Haruni John, nisikilize vizuri. Kwa Tanzania ni tofauti na Kenya, ni tofauti na Marekani, ni tofauti.
See, that's the bullshit. We've really accepted the white man's system so bad to accepting that we're really different people. This is crazy because that's what he's saying. He says Kenya is different from Tanzania. The Kenyan people are different from the Tanzanian people, just the same way as the Kenyan and the Tanzanian people are different from the American people. If you talk about America, that is a different subject. But if we're talking about the African continent, there's nothing that makes us different right here. There's no wall we've built that we can't be able to cross other African countries. If I have money enough, why should it be impossible for me to get a land in Tanzania and settle there? Why should I go there being worried, especially after this, what we can see? Why should I go there being worried this system or governance is going to, or the regime is coming to take away something that I've worked so hard to acquire? And especially if I did it legally and you're taking it away from me illegally, because there's nothing legal about this. This man is a born and raised Tanzanian. It goes back to history. Like he said, this is a historical, it's all based on history. When we had a group of the Agikuyu people who moved to Tanzania, and he's talking about his grandfather, his father, they have all lived there. So why is it that now he is being kicked out? Why is it that he's registered more than twice to get an identification card and still is not being recognized as a Tanzanian? This is so crazy. And now we go back to the system of education. And this one I'm even super, super pissed because we're talking about Nigeria adding the Chinese language as part of their curriculum. I mean, we're being made super dumber instead of being woken up. I mean, for Kenya, at least for Kenya, man, this country, I'd say the system of Kibaki, where we were given the free system of education by Kibaki, helped us. And this is the generation, I'm about to share the next video of what this generation is doing. And they're talking about it. These are the things that people want to change so bad. This is the type of system that the youth are tired of every time you walk anywhere, oh, which tribe are you? Oh, you don't belong to my tribe, so you can't benefit from this. Oh, you're not Kenyan, so you don't belong here. No, you're not Tanzanian, you don't belong here. Kenya has been one of the countries that we've been accommodative again, and this is very well known. Many people have been here, they can't talk about it. We are the most accommodative country in the whole continent, and I'd say that confidently. We have everyone here. Somalians, Sudanese, Congolese, Rwandese, Burundians, Tanzanians. As a matter of fact, if you actually go back and talk about Tanzania, since you're kicking out a Kenyan, Tanzania was known for having trafficking. I remember I talked about this in 2021. They were trafficking disabled children in Nairobi City so that they can come and beg mercilessly because the system of Tanzania is not taking care of the people with disability. This is super crazy. This is so crazy. It's very sad.
Tofauti na baadhi ya nchi kadhaa ambazo mtoto akizaliwa katika ardhi ya nchi hiyo husika automatically anakuwa raia. Lakini kwa Tanzania, kwa mujibu wa sheria zetu za uraia, za uraia za Tanzania, mtu hawi raia kwa kuzaliwa katika ardhi ya Tanzania. Nawapa mfano mmoja mdogo.
So it says just the fact that you're born in Tanzania, that doesn't make you a Tanzanian citizen, which is super crazy because that should be what happens. If you're born in a country, that makes you a citizen. So I don't understand what type of a system is running in Tanzania. But he says the fact that the young man is born there, that doesn't make him a citizen. So still he shouldn't be owning any asset there, which is super crazy.
Kwa mfano, Mheshimiwa Naibu Waziri hapa angekuwa balozi wa Tanzania nchini, taja jina lolote tu au tutaje rafiki zetu, angekuwa balozi wa Tanzania nchini Burundi, alafu watoto wake wakazaliwa huko kwenye hiyo ardhi, pamoja na kwamba yeye ni raia wa Tanzania na yuko ubalozini, wale watoto wakizaliwa nje ya hapa wakirudi lazima wakifikisha 18 lazima wale kiapo kwamba wanaurithi uraia wa baba yao. Na yeyote pia akizaliwa ndani ya ardhi ya Tanzania, kama baba na mama sio raia, anatakiwa akifikisha miaka 18 auombe aape kupewa uraia wa Tanzania.
And that's what the young man did. But did they still give him citizenship? Like he said, he's registered to get the identification card twice, but they've still not given him the citizenship. That is a man who is over his 30s, literally. That is someone who is in his 30s, born and raised in Tanzania. But still, his explanation actually is very null. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. And this is an official in this system. And then you ask, actually, why do we even work? We have non-working institutions. These are the reason why we have non-working institution. People cannot even. What are you even explaining? What are you explaining? This is making me mad, man.
Yeah, Joby, can you explain to me what's going on?
Karibu sana. How are you doing today?
I said, Asante Sana, Karibu Sana, you just kept talking.
Well, there's
I,
order in the chat.
I,
Don't come and just distract my show. You gotta allow me to guide you.
all right, Joey, I apologize. Calm down. Wait.
Yes. So we're talking about Tanzania. So there's this video that is going viral of a young man who is being kicked out of Tanzania. Not really being kicked out, but having his land being taken away from him. So
For
according
what?
to history, we have a group of the Agikuyu people who moved to Tanzania. That is during the colonial era in Kenya.
Mhm.
And then the group of the Agikuyu people, when they went to Tanzania, they got their lands there legally, not illegally like the white people, how they come and just grab your
Of
shit.
course.
They got their land there legally, and since the grandfather's young man's era, they have been living there. His dad was born there. He's been
But
born there.
the
That is
Tanzanians, because look, exactly, there was no Kenya, there was no Tanzania, there was only Africa. So those lands that they got belong to them. So the idea you trying to see, he trying to make it go back to tribal nonsense again.
exactly. So he said first, number one, which I also have a problem with. He said he's a Kikuyu instead of first saying he's a Tanzanian, because again,
Exactly.
we live in every country. If I'm born, whether in Uganda, despite my parents being Kenyan, that makes me a Ugandan. That should
Sure
be.
does.
I don't understand why this man is saying, oh, just because you're born here, that doesn't make you a Tanzanian. But yet he goes ahead and say, if you're born here, you have to stay here for over 18 years and get the right citizenship. That is the ID for you to be identified as a Tanzanian. The young man is someone in his 30s, and he said
They're trying to steal his land. That's what this is. These are the people. They do this. Is the nonsense. This is the corruption. Like I said, this is the crazy. They try to steal the man's land. If he was white, they got no problem with letting anybody white in there still go and get land. They don't say a goddamn thing. But they're trying to steal his land, just like exactly what you said. Maria, mother is Kenyan, but Maria was born in Uganda. She's Ugandan.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly what you said, Joe. So they're trying to steal his land. It must be a big land they're trying to give. It must be trying to give to somebody white. They're trying to steal his land.
It's
How
crazy.
much land does he own, Joe?
Sasa tuna watu wengi
Is not, they've not said about the amount of land he owns, but of course you can tell it's a lot of acres, because it's a lot of acres. Because if you look at also probably how Tanzanians live, most of them have what I've seen is it's like they still have this how do I put it? There's a term I want to use. They still live in how, let's say, the way Africans used to live like back then, right? If your grandmother lives here,
Yeah,
just
I got you. Yeah. So they live in almost these compound communities. If your grandma lives there, you build a house next to her. Then your cousin lives next to him. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Joe.
Yes,
I get
exactly.
wengi ambao wengine walikuja baada ya uhuru, wapo wengine kwa mazingira
The question I want to ask,
tofauti.
that's the question, Joey. Why are they coming at this land? Why are they coming for him?
So
What did he do?
not even him. So he's done nothing. So that's why he took advantage to take the mic and talk, because Samia Suluhu is there in the presence, and this bunch of non-talking sense officials, right?
Yeah.
So recently, I think even since last year, there's been videos going viral of starting from that is the Tanganyika people. We saw the Tanganyika people live along the lake. The Tanganyika people were being kicked out of their land so that the white people can be shown what to explore.
Yeah. Get that land so white people. I told you the white people coming back ahead, so the white people can steal that land by a freshwater lake. Exactly.
Last
Then you also got the Maasai being kicked out their land in Tanzania. So are you trying to tell me the Maasai not Tanzanian? You can't pull that either. Because the Maasai been there for generations, because they made came and make that goofy border The Maasai go from Tanzania, Kenya, all the way really up to Ethiopia. Go ahead,
Last year,
Joe.
we had some Tanzanians also who are losing their homes. Talking about already built homes, including the land, of course, itself, to Chinese people, them being kicked out.
Oh, Chinese.
And the Chinese.
That's what I'm talking about. So you got Chinese coming, stealing land. It is crazy. And listen, I'll tell you, African people going to start waking back up, and you're going to start unaliving people. I'm telling you now. You got Chinese, supposedly Africa's this bad place, but everybody's coming in to get land again. See, the propaganda don't work because the people know when they go to Africa, like, wow, there's a lot of land here and shit is nice. So especially with the white man put out the lies, the jungle, you're in the jungle. Like I said, I ain't seen one goddamn jungle yet. Go ahead.
Wengine wakati wazazi wao walipokuja hapa kama wakimbizi, watoto wale wakazaliwa kabla ya wazazi wao kuwa wameshapata uraia. Yaani wazazi wao walikuja kuishi hapa kama wakimbizi, baadaye wazazi wao wakapewa uraia.
This how fast a country goes when the white people get from working to now that quick. Magafuli's only a few years ago, and Tanzania was the jewel of Africa. We had an African leader working for African people, but they got his ass up out of it. And don't you believe for 1 minute they did unalive his ass? They did, so they can come in and do what they're doing. They got land going to Chinese people, land going to white people, and land going to Arab people. Go ahead, Joe.
Exactly.
Lakini wakati wanawazaa watoto wao, kama walikuwa bado hawajapewa ule uraia, wale watoto wao hawawi raia mpaka na wao wauombe uraia. Kwa hiyo wapo watoto ambao wana
the same bullshit, because whatever he's saying is the same bullshit that is happening to majority of the people who have been born in Kenya and those who have settled in Kenya for so many years, and they still beg.
Oh yeah, that was the Zambians, that was the Burundians, that was the Rwandans, and Kenya's got everybody. Only one who's been given citizenship out of them is the Somalis. I don't understand that. They get to talking crazy. But you got Kenya has everybody in there. Kenya's got every African up in Kenya because people love Kenya. You got Zambians in there. You probably got South Africans in there too. I don't know. So I know you got Somalis, Zambians, Tanzanians. You got every African in Kenya. You got Congolese, Ugandans. You got everybody.
All of them, even Malawians. There's a Malawian even there. There are Malawians even here. They said,
damn, you got the Malawians and you got the Malawians there too.
Yeah, we do have Malawians. We have
Kenya's like, of course you got that. Kenya's like South Africa. I think might be more. I think there might be more Africans, different Africans in Kenya than even in South Africa. That's crazy. South Africa probably got Mozambicans there too. Everybody there.
We know how to mind our business. The only business we mind, and the business we mind, is about Ruto. We know how to mind our business literally, and we know if you're here and the fact that you're living here, because I remember the last demonstration, some Ugandans who have been living here, they were there and they said, I'm not here not just as a Ugandan, but as a Kenyan because I've been living here. I'm a Ugandan who was settled here for so long. I have businesses here, so of course, whatever is happening in Kenya is affecting me, and I am going to participate in what is happening. And that is the mentality we need. Not you coming here, oh, we're different, and I don't think we need to be together. Then kick crowds.
No. Only one did that Somalia, but Kenyans have never done that. The South Africans have done it. But you never heard Kenyans talk about kicking out other African people, other African countries. You only hear that down in South Africa.
Kwa wananchi nyingine, nchi yao ni Tanzania ila wao sio wa Tanzania. Kwa hiyo hayo mambo nadhani wenzetu wanaohusika na wote wenye mambo ya aina hiyo wanatakiwa wafanyie hayo mambo yanatakiwa yafanyiwe kazi.
This is crazy. This is why the system of education needs to be changed, because he's explaining again 0 points, talking the same bullshit again, how the system in Africa has been not work of Africans. If you go to another African country, you should suffer. There's nothing as citizenship, the way the law is written. 10 plus years living in a country, you're eligible to get citizenship. That is Kenya. I know that. Born here, you're supposed to be, you're a citizen. That is not even a debate we are about to have. Born here, that makes you a citizen. After 18 years, you get the citizenship card, that is the ID, and that's it. You're not going to be wondering about the police officers bothering you or what. The ID speaks for you. Hey, I don't care about my accent.
He said all this, but in Europe, what Joe said about, in Europe, that's what happens. In Europe, that's why they got the EU. You don't need no passports. You don't need no visas. If you're in a European country, you're part of the EU. France, Spain, Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, Italy, Belgium. So why not in Africa?
Exactly. Why not Africa? And that's why that, remember we talked about how it is, again, if you go back to the traveling, because look at even how these Africans struggle to get to just Kenya. Imagine from Malawi to Kenya. I don't know how many nights guys spent probably on the road, and they came literally with nothing, just their clothes. They came with nothing, probably left with $dollars. You have to eat, you have to drink water along the way. Transport is expensive, of course. So you can imagine what they have gone through, probably having to settle in another country before you're like, when will I ever get to Kenya? Probably it's a whole month, 2 months.
Of course.
The fact that again also traveling within Africa is expensive, and that's why I'd say shout to in Kenya. Right now we have a thing going on, and that's why I'm saying the pressure is really getting to me. I might have to get my voter's card finally, maybe for the first time, because the aim is the youths who are going to turn up, we're not going to vote for Ruto. And if Ruto comes back, this is going to have to go down. That is the one. If Ruto comes back, it has to go down, because we don't care about even the political ally and the political parties who is beefing with who. No, this is about us, the majority. And people are tired. People are getting tired. I'm telling you, people, anywhere there's a meeting right now,
about time.
Money, and after that they say one term, you know, because during even during that event, you're not allowed to say 2 term, because you will be beaten. I'm about to share that video. There's a guy who was beaten by the crowd because of just saying 2 term, and you're being told, are you stupid? The only thing you're supposed to say here is pay like you're paying attention. Just agree to what that stupid president is saying at this particular point, but no 2 term chance here. So I love the fact that the youth, this is a video of the youth who went to take the voters card, and they were told they should come back. That's until 30th of March. And what surprised most people, they expected, because the Gen Zs, the way they came up, or the way the Gen Zs literally showcased their interest in politics was through demonstration. So the police were set on the ground. They thought actually they are going to see demonstration and start throwing tear gas. But no, the youths left peacefully and saying, don't think we're not going to come back. We're going to take that voters card, and Ruto is going. Ruto must go. And I love the way they're explaining their reasons of taking the voters card. This is not even about even voting. It's because we need to change a system that has been long existing. Corruption, number one, which our parents have been so comfortable with, and they don't want to do anything about it. Every day you're on the line of, or after 5 years on the line voting, but
Wait, Joe, let's do it fair to your parents. Your parents didn't have the information as much as you guys are, and they were not as fearless as you guys. They're more cowardice generation, of course, but they also were cowards with less information that you guys had. So.
And that, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for sympathizing.
All right.
There's no time for sympathizing. And you see, that sympathizing is what has made this system remain the way it is. Oh, you know, we didn't understand we didn't understand what we were doing. Exactly. So that's why we want you to keep quiet and let us do the job. You go sit your old ass down, relax, watch the TV, and wait for the results, because it's going to go down. These my people are really mad, and the generation that is actually even angered and understanding what's happening in Kenya, they're the youths. People are mad about the Israelites moving here in Kenya. That is a debate that is very
heavy Israelites. Yeah. See, that's they're fine. They know that Israel. Why is all these Israelis moving into Kenya? Exactly. Because listen, this is the reskilling of African land. They told that's the sad part. They told all the other Africans outside of Africa that Africa's fucked up, and everybody knows it's not. That's why they're coming back. Exactly. You should be very worried. Why are a bunch of Israelis moving into fucking Africa? Won't they move their ass to America? Won't they come to America? Shit.
Exactly.
Why they moving to Kenya and South Africa and Tanzania and all that shit?
So
good.
Big group of students show up ready to register as voters. Then something strange happens. They are told, quote,
so what is happening? The youth are grabbing each other in groups of 10, 5, going to take the voters card. Because when you go as an individual, sometimes it's not encouraging. So when you go as a gang, of course, somewhere.
They try. That's how you're supposed to go. That's right. You go in numbers because they're gonna try to stop you because they're trying to steal this election like they always stole the other one. So this overwhelming amount of force with the youth, you can't tell people no nonsense.
Come back on March 30th, end of quote, and just like that, the entire crowd turns around and walks away. No stones, no shouting, no chaos, just silence.
County, the information I have is that the voter registration exercise will commence on 30th of this
Hundreds
month.
of Gen Z voters living in perfect unity. A quiet protest that shook Kenya's political class harder than any recent march.
This is what scares the puppets. Puppets, your time is up. I'm telling you, this is what scares these puppets that the white man put in Africa, making them wealthy, keeping Africans impoverished. That's why they want to come back and put their boots on the ground. White people coming, showing back up, buy land and build, make them Jewish people showing up, Chinese people showing up. Other shit, Africa was all fucked up. Why are you there? Because it's not fucked up.
Because this time, the youth are not storming parliament, they are storming the voters register. And what started as a simple hashtag Niko Kadi, is now looking like the opening chapter of the 2027 election earthquake. Thursday morning, March 19th, at Chuka University in Tharaka Nithi County, over 1,000 students arrived with one mission: register as voters. But what they encountered instead became the most symbolic political moment Kenya has seen this year. Students were directed between the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC constituency office and nearby Huduma Center, back and forth, until finally an official dropped the bombshell. The mass voter registration exercise starts on March 30th. Training delays, system not yet fully developed. But before the explanation could finish, the students made their own statement. They turned around and they walked out together, calm, silent, and unified. It wasn't chaos, it was choreographed, a message louder than any megaphone.
Like I said, you're not gonna put this genie back in the bottle. And you corrupt official, your youth are just getting smarter and smarter. That's what's supposed to happen now. You're not gonna put the corrupt genie back in the bottle. Go ahead, Joe.
What I have is that the voter registration exercise will commence on 30th of this month. So if we can be patient enough and wait for 30th, we will be able to register ourselves and we'll be able to exercise our.
There's no problem. You see, this old thinking as, man, you're supposed to be, why are you even talking? Why are you addressing us? We don't want you to address the young people. This is where they try to create confusion, because this is him trying to make it seem like there was some sort of problem that the youths had when they were told the date. No, they walked out peacefully. They said, okay, just no come back, because it's not a problem that today there's no enough papers or the voters, whatever. Fine, we're coming back on 30. Are you trying to clarify it more? You're trying to make it seem like it's the Gen Zs have a problem now because please stop.
Democratic rights.
Democratic.
We are not only going to enhance it by ensuring that you register by bringing it at the university.
You know what?
Within minutes, the video
No,
exploded
just go straight on
online.
down.
Shared on
just
X,
stay
the
straight
clip
on
began
81.
spreading across Kenyan timelines like wildfire. Captions poured in, quote, if Kenyans walked away from politicians like this, wangekuwa down on their knees. Comrades power. Gen Z mtanimaliza siku moja.
Exactly. We need to also normalize that, but which is also being practiced, literally. Youths are starting to walk away from these political the comrades, like when you come, you want to give campaign or talk to people. There's a time Ruto was talking to himself and his bodyguards only, and that video went viral, and Kenyans were laughing and shaming him and calling him unpopular because you are whole president. People are not even, they don't even want to listen to you because people are tired of your goddamn lies. Affordable housing, they look like shit. Crazy, man.
Within hours, the hashtags began trending nationwide.
It's about to rain super crazy. The floods were being told the 24-hour rain. I think they have made it every Friday now. It's looking super crazy outside. It's about to rain, of course, I know today. Very, very crazy. Have they solved anything about the motorboats? We're tired of your words. We need people who are putting in action. We need it.
Hashtag Niko Kadi, hashtag Tuko Kadi, hashtag Occupy Chuka. And suddenly, what looked like a simple campus incident turned into a national political signal because the youth are not just complaining anymore, they are preparing. The fire actually began 2 days earlier, Tuesday, 17th March in Kasarani, Nairobi. Photojournalist and activist Alan Sademba, working alongside Willie Oeba, set a modest goal: register 600 new voters in one day. What happened instead shocked even organizers. 641 registrations. IEBC offices worked overtime as young people lined up for hours. Then something fascinating happened online. Young Kenyans began posting screenshots of their voter verification. The captions was always the same: Niko Kadi, je wewe.
Let us not be swayed by the narrative out there that we do not vote. That spirit that drive us to the street yenye tupeleka pale kwa Nairobi na zile street ingine, we want that spirit kwa ground.
We are here to register as voters. So tunasema tuko kadi, and if the government thinks that wako kadi kutuliko, sisi tuko kadi kuwaliko.
Exactly. This time people know. My question is, I don't know who people are really voting for though, because the other that's also another problem. I do have a problem with, we don't know who we're voting for as much as we want Ruto out. I know the aim is not to vote for Ruto. At least I know.
Exactly. The system. The system is going to protect itself. So even if it's not Ruto, the other guy is just he's part of the same system. Exactly. They set this up. They set this up worldwide. Like when we had here in America with Kamala Harris and Trump, it didn't matter. It didn't matter who you voted for. Whoever won is not real one because they control both parties. It's all fake. Good.
And looking at literally the political opponents we have or candidates we have, all of them, they have been on the files of corruption. One of them being Matiang'i. Matiang'i was our cabinet, our Minister of Education. That is when I was in high school, actually. He was really, really rough, like on us, but ensured actually the education sector people passed. But did he change anything in terms of the curriculum or the system? Nah. But he, at least I'd say, changed some few things on the punctuality of education. He said no more caning of students in, that is the one who came up with that law, no more beating of students in school, because that was a norm, and some schools listened, some schools didn't, because that is still being done. But he's one among the people, after becoming the Minister of Education, he was promoted to become the Interior Secretary of Security, something to do with that. And the amount of bodies that were people that were being abducted and killed, we talk about Ruto. Now the one who is one among the presidential candidates, So many young people have been abducted and been found in River Yala, where my grandma lives. Many young people. Talk anything against Uhuru Kenyatta or the government, you're gone. You're gone. So abduction has not started actually with Ruto. Matiang'i.
Of course not. Exactly. It's not. It didn't start with him. That's been going on in Africa, not just Kenya, in Africa forever, because these systems are all corrupt, created to protect the colonial masters.
Exactly. Gachagua comes from a family of corruption too. Exactly. Yeah. And where the brother was a governor and he took all the public funds that were supposed to be helping them. And that's how you wonder, how did Gachagua become a politician? The brother, it goes all the way back to history again. And the rest, none of them are good. All the aspiring presidential candidates, all of them are corrupt. So who are we really voting for? I just know the aim is Ruto is not the one we're voting for. But who are we really voting for?
Now participating in these processes, over and above advocating on social media, we're also coming to the ground to ensure that young people stand to be counted. I'm here today to ensure that
See, not only the youth are going to do that, so now they got to put up their own viable candidate. They got to be the ones to put up their own person from the grassroots.
That's true, but who? That's the question. We don't have.
I don't know. Exactly.
2027.
We don't have anyone.
Most young people, because we make 75% of the Kenyan population, will have voters card. We are the only people who can make the change.
Exactly. They have the power. Exactly. 75% of Kenya is Gen Z. So they have the power. So no way you can tell me that Ruto won if 75% of the Kenyans are youth and they want him out. Unless you got some funny business with stealing the elections.
Was made by our grandfathers and fathers. The first change was kutoa mkoloni. The second change was the multipartism. The third change was the 2010 constitution. And the fourth and the last whom the youth, CC youth Chatoa, is the economic liberation.
The Nikokadi initiatives started officially when a friend of mine texted me, Nimlete to register for voting. And I want to say this. Within 2 hours, we've been able to register over 150 new voters and 40 new voter transfers. And that should communicate something to the government.
Just ensure that you go to the IBC that is next to you, register as a voter, because the journey that is ahead of us is bigger than where we have come from.
Very big, very big.
Soon, major voices.
This is going to be one of the major elections after 2007. This is going to be one of the biggest.
Amplified the message. Among them, activist Boniface Mwangi, journalist Larry Mado, influencer Abby Zuena. Within 72 hours, the hashtag jumped from social media trend to national civic mobilization, campus to campus, matatu to matatu, estate to estate. The message was spreading faster than any political campaign because this movement is not being led by politicians. It is being led by Gen Zs. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission had already acknowledged a major problem. Young voter registration has been historically low. Millions of eligible voters remain outside the register. So the commission announced a new push, enhanced continuous voter registration. The nationwide mass drive of...
Exactly, because I believe this is because, like I'm saying, and this is everyone who's saying it, as much as, again, we know the Kenyattas have stolen. The amount of stealing Ruto is doing publicly and in front of our eyes, and the fact he's being called out and still doing it. He's still doing it and threatening people. I'm going to remove you from the office, and yet the same people come and talk about it, and he still goes ahead to another office and takes over your business, fires everyone, and put other board members because he's God damn. Whatever the lady was explaining yesterday, if you have a booming business that is making billions or millions of money,
he's coming to get it.
And this is crazy because it's on our goddamn. We've not seen this massive.
Of course.
Stealing as much as it's been happening. This was behind our goddamn backs.
I got you. Yeah, Rudo's is what you call blatant. It's blatant. It's in your face. It's like, what are you gonna do about it? So what you know? What are you gonna do about it?
Now we're the unruly. God damn it, we are the unruly generation. We're gonna do something about it. That's That's the difference. And it's perfect timing because you came in literally when the Gen Zs have started knowing what life is. Literally, most of us are from colleges, universities. Now we've started working. We're trying to put houses together, getting some shopping, getting a job is hard. I'm from college. What do you mean? My parents sold shambas, lands in the village to ensure I'm educated. Now I come to Nairobi telling me there's no job, and you are a president, and you promised us something. Now we're done with the era of the Kenyattas. Now it's a new generation, and it's about to go down. Oh shit.
Officially launches March 30th, 2026, with a major objective: expand the voter roll dramatically before the 2027 Kenyan general election. Earlier projections suggest as many as 6.3 million new voters could join the register, and many of them are young Kenyans. The IEBC even promised to place registration centers inside universities, but something unexpected happened. The youth didn't wait for the launch. They showed up early, and the system wasn't ready.
There are people who are here who came to transfer their votes, but it's because we facilitated the whole program, not with money, but just with social media, and to tell people that we are here for 2027 and we are getting.
What I've seen is that they might shut down the internet during the 2027 election. There is some.
Of course, you see, in this one time, see, the youth, what you call it, so this organized. See, the Africans usually never organize and they never what? Proactive. So the Kenyan youth are proactive and organized. This is a threat to power.
Exactly.
Ready. We are here to make sure that the bad regime, the bad leader, the bad politics is home, and we are going to put in new leaders, not politicians.
But this story is bigger than a registration exercise because
exactly, and understanding how to define terms, politicians and a leader, exactly, like because these are all politicians, they're not leaders, they just do political games.
Exactly, they're not leaders, exactly.
The faces in these queues look familiar. They are the same generation that filled the streets during the 2024 Kenyan Finance Bill protests, the same generation that organized protests through TikTok and Telegram, the same generation that forced political class to realize something uncomfortable. Kenyan youth are no longer spectators, they are participants, and now the strategy has changed from street power to ballot power. Organizers like Alan Sademba are now talking about a massive goal: 15 million youth voters by 2027. Some estimates suggest there are nearly 14 million eligible young Kenyans, either unregistered or newly eligible. If even half of them register, the political map of Kenya could change overnight, because elections in Kenya are often decided by margins far smaller than that, which means this generation could become the largest voting bloc in modern Kenyan history.
Exactly.
We know what we want. We know the people we don't want in government, in those offices, and that's why we are here. We are serious, and this is just a litmus test of what is to come. We are going to mobilize across the country. We are saying 15 million strong. That means 15 million young Kenyans on the ballot box, and IBC says that they are expecting at least 6.8 million. Trust you me that by end of next year, tutakuwa tumepita hiyo number.
Yes. Exactly. The number is going to go hard. And one thing I know about Kenya, the hashtags, they go crazy. You start a hashtag, bet sure people are going to do it. The Twitter, our Twitter is one of the, leave alone Nigerians. I had Nigerians are the most active on the internet. That is Balox, okay? We put it very straight. Balox. Kenya is the most active country in Africa on the internet. So you start a subject, bet sure you're starting a subject that is going to be debated by Kenyans mostly. Even some Black Americans, every time maybe they mention something about Kenyans, and then they didn't expect maybe Kenyans to react to it, the way they flock their comment section, they're like, God damn, these Kenyans, oh my God, I was joking, I'm sorry. They start apologizing. Things are different. We're not trying to accept the Museveni or bullshit here. But moving away from that, shout out to the young people. I'm looking forward to see if I'm going to get the spirit of going to get my voter's card. I've not yet made up my mind, but you still have time. till next year. October is when we have our election, so we still have literally a lot of time before we get to do that. But on the other hand, we have Nigeria. Talking about non-working countries, Nigeria has signed a deal with the UK to receive the deported failed asylum seekers criminals. This is after the deal actually didn't work with Rwanda, because they were supposed to be doing this with Rwanda. The deal was signed in 2022, but now we have Rwanda, which has taken now the UK itself to the court because of the decisions they have made of not bringing asylum seekers in their country, demanding $125 million compensation after the UK abruptly cancelled the 2022 migrant relocation. And they're saying that the justice minister, whose name is Emmanuel, says that Rwanda is seeking accountability for what it described as a breach of agreed commitments under the Migration and Economic Development Partnership. Why should this be making you mad? Because you're losing your money? That's what I see. It shouldn't be making you mad. For you accepting, actually, that's a burden taken off my chest and shoulders. Like, I was supposed to be receiving some people, now I'm being told I can't receive them. I'm supposed to be celebrating because we talked about
Exactly. And they were mostly all non-black racist people that they were going to be receiving.
Exactly. And we talked about how this is going to become a very big effect, not just even to Rwanda itself, but to East Africa. These people are not going just to settle in Rwanda and sit comfortably. And then the fact we don't even have strict laws as East Africa bloc when it comes to foreigners touring our country or even as a continent, people can just, this is why we have the Russian coming here recording videos of women, showing how women are so easily accessible as if we are. Damn, have you met women out here? There's a woman who's gonna knock your nose and doesn't give a shit. Me too. I'm the one of them. We'll take your money and we don't give a damn. Stop playing. Like, it's crazy, man. But now we have
the Russian never gave him no money. Remember, the Russian is broke. He never gave him the money.
Smart, man. Crazy. I thought the mentality was take the money and go. Like, you know, especially if you get those chances when you see white people, you think they're the sprinkle. But now we have Nigeria, which has signed the deal itself, saying that they're going to be accepting now these failed asylum seekers. They say Nigeria has signed a new deal with the United Kingdom, which will allow the Britain to deport thousands of the failed asylum seekers and criminals to the West African country. The agreement was signed by Olubumin Tunji, Minister of Interior, and Shabana, Home Secretary, during the President Bola Tinubu state visit of the UK, which is crazy. I don't know if you guys saw the trip. Tinubu was taken by all the Nigerians official to this trip. All the Nigerians official went to the UK because it was Tinubu's first time of going to the UK. So all of them, this is crazy. Just because, like when I'm going to America, having my whole family coming with me because I'm going to America. What type of thinking? They're saying that the new deal will also allow Britain to send visa overstays to Nigeria, which is a lie. And you know they're not gonna be having any peace being there. We saw there's a time the people in the UK were demonstrating, saying, "Kick these niggas out of here. We don't want them." Like that was last year. Yeah, and it comes with the wide flexibility for the UK. Now, on the other hand, still with more other deals, Nigeria still with another deal with the UK. They have signed a $1 billion export finance deal to fund modernizing of the two of Nigerian main seaport. And this is President Bola Tinubu, who is in the UK on an official visit, who witnessed the signing. They're saying that Bola Tinubu is currently on an official visit to the UK and to the UK witnessed the signing, marking significant steps in strengthening infrastructure and trade capacity. If you imagine, this whole week I've been talking about African countries just signing deals with other countries. And that's why we gave a good example like China. One country, you're giving one country an access of the market of 54 countries. It doesn't make sense. While you don't even benefit from any of those deals. You get breadcrumbs, you give the materials, all of them raw, and you're left with nothing. And then you ask, why are we so underdeveloped? You know why? Why are we so behind? because you give away everything. You've not created anything in your country, and you make it even worse by saying you're going to add the Chinese language to the senior secondary curriculum. That is Nigeria. Now,
That's how you know you've been colonized. You would never ever do that ever.
on Wednesday, I shared a video where we're talking about how African countries, most of them were pardoned. I think it was close to 15 countries that were pardoned by China. That is the Chinese
The
debt.
loans.
And yeah, we questioned what is it that China wants back. Have these countries asked themselves? Because there's nowhere as an individual I owe Jibba $200, and then he tells me just forget about that $200. There's something you want back in benefits. So what is it that you want back? Because you're just giving me money, and you're telling me, and you've been giving me not just money, but every time, and you're telling me just forget about it. What is it that you want in my house? And if I look at my house, I don't have the money you've been giving me, but do I have something valuable more than the money? Yes, I do. Oil. I do have oil. I do have gold. I do have many other things. This could be maybe Nigeria is one among the countries. I'm not really sure. I have to check on that. If it's one among the countries that were pardoned on their debt, and maybe why they're doing this, because Kenya, Zimbabwe have been a good example of, if you don't pay the Chinese debt, they are coming for you, not only for your assets, but they are introducing their curriculum in your studies. Nigeria is a country with 200 and something tribes. This is one of the countries, still, they were trying to introduce different, they're trying to teach children with their ethnical languages, each some like, which is very confusing. So if you are
exactly, but exactly, it's confusing, but it keeps them in power.
It's crazy. If you're a Kamba Kikuyu, you should be taught by a Kikuyu teacher. If you're a Luo, you should be taught by a Luo teacher. So how do we communicate as a...
That's stupid. See, that's why that part of Africa has a better way of unifying, because Swahili is a big language that crosses countries, which they don't have in West Africa. So that's why the Swahili language is so important. The Swahili's in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Congo. So that's why the Swahili language is so important. And that's why that's the biggest language in Africa. It should be adopted by all Black African nations, Swahili. You can't have all these goofy languages. No one can communicate with each other. That's on purpose. That's crazy.
Someone says this is very good. The way the world is going, Nigerians are going to need another language apart from English to navigate to more opportunities. It might not be Chinese, it might be French or Spanish, but we do need to learn another language. These three are amongst the top 5 spoken languages in the world. So Chinese. So she's encouraging Chinese should be taught to Nigerians. These people can barely talk English well. So you're talking about them learning.
That's right. That's right. My God. Imagine how the Chinese will go. Hey, oh, ching chong, hey, oh, yeah, go ching bong, what? What Chinese is this?
Super insane. But we also have on this other end, that is the ex-Gambian president Yahya Jammeh, who's been investigated for diversity, for diverting, that is 47 billion Kenyan shillings of public funds to sponsor his luxury lifestyle.
Right.
That is
Where's he at now? Because I don't think he's in the game. They tried to lock his ass up. Where's he at? I know he's an exile. Where's he at? Up in Morocco or something?
Not sure,
he's somewhere else.
Gambian President Yahya Jammeh faces scrutiny after the state investigation linked him to misuse of billions in public funds. That should be next, Ruto and the rest. The state investigation has found Jammeh liable for at least $362 million. That is about 47 billion Kenyan shillings in a misappropriated public funds. The probe says that he used much of the money to fund a luxury lifestyle, including buying aircraft, limousines, and real estate. The former leader is accused of disposing of multiple state-owned facilities, including a government aircraft. According to the report given by the country's National Assembly Committee, lawmakers say that they cannot confirm where part of the
Money's gone.
$470,000 earned from the sales of the aircraft was deposited. Jammeh went into the exile in Equatorial Guinea after losing
So
the.
hey, so that corrupt bastard is not all the way down in Equatorial Guinea with that other corrupt bastard. Make everybody's impoverished, and he's wealthy, and his son's buying all these Bugattis, Lamborghinis, all these houses in France. It's crazy. But that's where his no good rotten ass is at.
Exactly. So his departure marks the end of 22-year rule. Sorry. And during his presidency, Jammeh built a public image as a Pan-Africanist and a strong critique
They
of
always
the
use
West.
that. They always use that nonsense. That's always a fake cover.
However, the investigation shows a different picture, pointing to a collection
Exactly.
of Western luxury products. Despite the Gambian's fragile economy, Jammeh acquired an extensive fleet of luxury vehicles. Reports show that he bought customized Rolls-Royce. Wow.
Exactly. But what is the thing with these? What's the thing with these moronic Negroes and these cars? You don't make cars. Oh, I gotta have a Rolls Royce, Bugattis, Lamborghinis. They all got all these damn expensive cars. They don't want to feed no damn body. It'd be crazy.
Yeah, Bentleys, Cadillac Escalades, and several limousines.
See? Oh, wait. So he did have a Cadillac Escalade. See? He did get his Cadillac Escalade in Africa. Hey, to that lady, I'm gonna get mine shipped over there, lady. I wouldn't get you. Hey, that President Gambia had a goddamn Escalade. Go ahead, Joe.
And saying some of the vehicles were personalized with engravings of his name and those of his friend, the interior. And then someone says on the comment, you need to come for Ruto now. Ruto, exactly. Ruto should be next. And then someone says Ruto should follow suit. There is no way Africa is moving forward if we can't call out and punish evil. If that can't happen, forget about growth. And then someone says this is what we want to see in 2027 after the second day. Exactly. We need Ruto arrested and being taken. Like, you better find somewhere to hide because he's not gonna be at peace. Kenyans refuse Ruto to come back.
He's going to exile. He's going to go to Equatorial Guinea too.
There's no hope for you right here. But on the last videos of the day, I'm gonna share. Yesterday we were talking about Africa versus global power, and if you look at actually the conversations we've been having, that is the position Africa is. It's Africa versus the global powers, the global power structure. Sorry, who you see majority are dominating Africa, and if you look at it actually in real sense, Africa is the global power. If it makes sense.
Yeah, you know what you say? You say it's the place everybody fights over, Joe. Yes, exactly.
Yep.
It contains all the cards if it ever got united. Of course, I know what you're saying. It's the global power area. Yeah, of course. Whoever controls Africa controls the world. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me share this couple of videos. Then we're gonna be winding up with that.
Focused on tribal wars and diaspora wars. Guys, look at this. While we're focused on tribal wars and diaspora wars, the world is eyeing Africa. Behind me is General Anderson. He's nominated to replace General Langley, and during a Senate meeting, he was talking about the value of Africa. He said China and Russia, they're heavily involved in Africa, and the future of the U.S. economy depends on U.S. involvement in Africa. Listen.
Why do we need to have presence in Africa? What is your thoughts?
So Africa is the key to any strategy. It's on strategic terrain.
Now pause that, Joby. Now pause it. Now you're hearing these white people in America, the generals, Africa is the main point. He's telling them to come. America and Africa, we're going impoverished. That's what they're telling them right there. That's what he's telling. That's what the general's telling all these damn government, the Congress, senators and stuff. So Africa must be controlled. We must have control of it. Not the Chinese, not the Russians. Because without there, our economy go under. Go ahead. Let them keep talking.
it forms between the Straits of Gibraltar all the way down through the Suez Canal and the Red Sea. It is critical minerals and resources that are
critical minerals.
We need for the future economy.
See, we need Father, but you said, those minerals we need for our economy. Without that, exactly.
They won't survive.
Exactly. It won't survive. That's what he's saying.
They are going to engage there, and so we can seed that ground, or we can compete in that ground. And I think we have a very powerful tool to compete with, as Admiral Bradley mentioned. Nobody brings more credibility to the counterterrorism fight than the U.S.
He said it himself. The routes in Africa, they're very strategic, and the critical minerals are important for the future economy. Russia and China, they've already been involved in Africa, and the U.S., they want to be involved as well. Instead of focusing on tribal wars and diaspora wars, we should focus on Africa. Everyone else, they know that it's the future, and we should be on board as well. But what do you guys think? Comment below.
You look at the West and you think we are living the dream. But let me show you the truth with numbers. In Europe, the richest 10% own about 60% of everything. In the United States, the top 1% alone hold almost a third of all wealth. And the bottom half, together, they own just 2%. Now look at Africa. The richest 1%, just 1 in 100, own about half of everything. In South Africa, the top 10% control more than 80% of the country's wealth. Do you see the pattern so far?
Those are white people.
Us. It's all of us beneath the same pyramid. Yes, there are differences. Here in the West, poverty is hidden behind clean streets and credit cards. People live in houses that belong to the banks, drive cars that belong to finance companies, and buy food on debt. I know it looks like comfort. It isn't, and it's actually control. In Africa, inequality is even more visible. The mansions of the few stand out against the struggles of the many. But the design is the same. A tiny elite holding everything while the majority carry the weight. We are actually more alike than you think. You are told that we are rich, but most of us are drowning in debt, stress, poison, food, and illusions. And we are told you are poor, but your lands are rich, your spirit is strong, and still the same sharks feed on you. So let's be clear. The problem is not that Africans lack or that Westerners have. The problem is that everywhere, the wealth of nations is captured by the few, while the many are told stories to keep them divided. So you think we are your enemy? We were told you are ours. But the truth is actually simpler than that. We are all being lied to.
Most conversations about Africa focus on poverty, aid, or conflict. But what if the opposite turns out to be true? A professor called Chang Shui-Chin believes Africa could become one of the most important regions in the future global system.
Not cold, we are one of the most important. Not cool, we are.
Not because of charity, not because of aid, but because of power. If this is the first time you're seeing me, my name is Noreen, and this is Real Africa Stories. Professor Chang Shui-Chin studies historical patterns in global politics and how shifts in power between countries shape the future. Some of his predictions about rising tensions between global powers and the future direction of the United States have gained attention online. But what caught my attention most is what he says about Africa. Before we go further, I want to say something. I'm not a geopolitical expert or a professor. I'm simply someone who enjoys researching history, ideas, and stories and sharing what I discover. Think of me as an independent and curious person who reads, learns, and then brings those discoveries to you so we can explore them together. So his first big idea is this. Africa could become one of the central arenas in global politics. The world is slowly shifting away from a system dominated by one global power. Instead, we are seeing several centers of influence emerging: the United States, China, India, and countries in the Gulf. And many of them are increasingly looking toward the same place: Africa. Why? Because Africa holds many of the minerals needed for modern technology. Many of the materials used in smartphones, electric cars, and modern batteries come from African countries. Minerals such as cobalt, lithium, and rare earth elements. Africa also sits along some of the most important global trade routes, and its population is growing faster than any other region on Earth. In other words, Africa may not remain on the sidelines of global politics. It could move much closer to the center. Another thing Professor Chung points out is about bargaining power. When several powerful countries compete for influence in the same region, that region can sometimes gain leverage. If multiple global powers want partnerships in Africa, African governments have more room to negotiate. Infrastructure from one partner, technology from another, trade agreements from another.
I know, exactly. We need to, the deals, how we make our deals, that cooperation bullshit needs to be, we need to take that term out. Okay? We're doing business. There's no collaboration bullshit. You want something from me, I want something from you. So what we're gonna do is I have to benefit. Again, if not using the way we can see Russia using, Burkina Faso using Russia, and probably, I don't know if they're reverse engineering some of the things that they're getting from Russia, and to keep that technology again.
You guys,
now,
if you fool if you don't.
Starting in their country and making them independent. Again, you're stupid. Why are you making cooperation with countries that have already developed way ahead than you, and leaving you with the breadcrumbs and leaving with the whole lot to feed their people? We need to get rid of those terms: cooperation, collaboration. What have they helped us with? Nothing so far. We're way behind.
Exactly. Business is supposed to be quid pro quo, this for that. What am I getting? You get this, I get that. It's quid pro quo. Exactly. I know I want to be your friend. I want you to like me. No, quid pro quo. No. I get this, you get that.
Exactly.
Competition between powerful countries can sometimes give African governments more space to negotiate better deals. And then there's another factor that's really important. Africa is already the youngest continent on Earth. And by the end of this century, nearly 1 in 3 people on the planet could be African. At the same time, populations in parts of Europe and East Asia are aging rapidly. That means Africa could eventually become one of the largest workforces in the world and one of the biggest consumer markets. Just imagine that for a second. Cities across Africa growing rapidly, young populations entering the workforce, new industries emerging, new markets forming. That kind of demographic shift doesn't just change a continent, it can change the balance of the world. By the way, I'm curious, when you think about the future of the world, do you imagine Africa playing a bigger role? Or do you think the world will keep overlooking the continent?
What happened?
I don't know.
In the year 1900, almost the entire African continent was under colonial rule. By the 1960s, most African countries had gained independence. And by the end of this century, Africa could hold nearly 1/3 of the world's population. So when people talk about Africa's future, they're really talking about one of the biggest historical shifts in human history. What's fascinating is that this idea isn't actually new. Some African thinkers were saying something similar decades ago. Leaders like Kwame Nkrumah believed Africa's real strength lies in its resources, geography, and people. He argued that if African countries cooperated economically, the continent could become one of the most powerful regions in the world.
They'd be dominant.
So when Professor Chang talks about Africa's future importance, in many ways he's echoing ideas Africans themselves have been discussing for years. And when I came across this idea, I realized something. Most of us have spent our lives hearing what Africa lacks, but very few conversations focus on what Africa actually has. History has a strange way of surprising us. A century ago, Africa was largely decades later, independence movements reshaped the continent. And now we're entering a century where Africa will have one of the youngest and fastest growing populations on Earth. So maybe the real question isn't whether Africa will matter in the future. Maybe the real question is whether the world has underestimated Africa for far.
They have, and it's about time, because the youths, we just need more of Nigerians to stop fighting about jollof rice and start getting some critical thinking like us, like the way Kenyans have the critical thinking right now, like question things, question your government, go on the street and go on those people's businesses, shut them down the same way we did, burn them down, like touch them down, all of them. You can't be keep on just fighting about jollof rice and the system is collapsing, and you are one among the countries that can make Africa great again. It's super crazy. But as we wind up, again, shout out to everyone who's with us on the comments section. I see Jibajaba, K. Williams, and to everyone who's here. Earlier, Jibajaba was saying, where are you born? Where you are born establishes nationality, where you can legally have a domicile, and residence is one separate legal standing, that is in the US. Okay. Where you're born establishes nationality, where you can legally have a domicile and be a resident in another separate legal
domicile is a house.
Okay. K. Williams, karibu sana. Nice to see you. Been a minute, but saying good morning, Joby. I'm looking at the title. That is, this is unbelievable. How stupid can they add Chinese language so their culture? It's crazy, man. Nigerians are confused. They don't know what they want. They don't know what they want. That's why they allow the Tinubu to just do. And then when you have a drug dealer as a president, you expect things to run correctly. Like, that's a crackhead. Like, I expect
he was selling drugs to crackheads. They don't make him a crackhead.
He doesn't give me an option of him not me calling him a crackhead, because only again, like Magufuli said, it's only these crackheads or drunkards who make these deals. So Magufuli said that. K. Williams says that is what you call conquered brain dead. I know. And also C says they are not taking a Chinese Indian or a white man land back.
Nope.
A bunch of cowards. It's super crazy. I also saying it's too early in the morning for this madness. Never, no good news when it comes to them. I'm so sorry about that. We got to report though what is happening in real life, because if we avoid it, that's how they take advantage of us. Literally, if we don't talk about it, if we act like we don't care, that's how they take advantage. And they've been taking advantage of Africans because we see headlines and we keep quiet. That is just a government matter. We shouldn't be concerned and all that. Jiba also says correct, Joby, go anywhere we are called black. We are the same, just in different places with different attitudes on how to do things. I agree.
Exactly. It's different cultures. Exactly. It's culturally different, but not genetically different. Exactly right, Jiba.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Jibba says that blue is mine, that there's no jungles in African. Indians are the 43rd tribe.
I know. Did it blow your mind, Jibba, with no jungles? They kept telling me about all these jungles. Joey's lived in Africa all life. Joey, have you seen a jungle?
No, I know we have forests.
No. I know. We're not talking about the regular forest. The jungles, they took a small part of Africa, guys. When they talk about the jungle, they talking about down by the Congo, where they have rainforest. That's where all that Tarzan shit was. I kept saying the same thing too, Jimmy. Where's these fucking jungles at? I've been to all these African countries, and I've never seen one fucking jungle. Not one.
And they don't even consider that a jungle. That is a forest still. Like,
I know. I'm just saying this propaganda we raised under Joe. That we came from jungles. We were called jungle bunnies. Like, and I said, Anybody seen these jungles? Where these jungles at? Oh, at the Ghana didn't see no jungle. Nigeria didn't see no jungle. Kenya didn't see no jungle. Tanzania didn't see no jungle. South Africa didn't see no jungle. Namibia didn't see no jungle. Like, where the fuck is the jungle at? Go ahead.
Whatever says white practice and support racial cohesion, we should too. And Gerald, good afternoon to you too. Jiba says if a rapper or any other celebrity is the lead opposition, you know, it's rigged on both sides. Of course, we don't even man, our celebrities know here. You better not. Okay, you support Ruto, you're losing subscribers. Nobody's coming to your show. Nobody gives a shit about you at this point. Like, people are very serious. Tanzanians are joking. They were joking, just unfollowed those musicians and still go to the shows. Man, here you get in a shoe goddamn face. Stop playing. You'll even get feces on your poo-poo on your goddamn face because you're supporting Ruto. Stop playing, man. It's Kenya's become crazy.
Tanzania didn't ban diamond platinums.
They did follow him, but he's still being listened. They're still going for the shows. So
okay, well that ain't no ban if they're still going to see him.
It is bad. As we're standing on business, as we're coming and
I know that's right.
Yeah, we're ensuring you're not selling a goddamn ticket, and those who are supporting you, also we're coming for them. Why did you go for that show? Oh, you and him, you better go live with Ruto because we don't want to see you on the street. I mean, that has been happening to, like I said, one of the young man who was the Gen Z leading gang on the demonstration. Then immediately when he was bought out and he went to town recently, he was beaten. We don't want to see you in this street. You better walk.
Wasn't that Boniface Mange or something? Who was that?
No, that's Kasamuel. His name is Kasamuel. I don't know. Just an old, ugly looking ass dude. He just, trying to make sense to young people, but he isn't. John Mosquito says, the moment we see the ugly of there's some ugliness. You don't have to be ugly, like, facially, but there's some things you do now you're considered
behavior. Your behavior.
And Tinubu says Tinubu got raped by Queen Charles. Unfortunately, he is a weakling. He got raped.
He's joking, Joby.
I'm like, what? That's crazy.
He's not talking about literally, Joe. Joe Mosquito's being funny. He said,
I was like, really?
Not literally King Charles raped Kenneth.
Ramos Quinto says, I think the deal was worth billions to modify the port, something they can do so easily themselves. They are insulting people's intelligence if they think the money is for the ports. I do agree. And Jabba says, did some Nigerians sell you a broken watch? No, I don't deal with Nigerians. I met one on the supermarket on Tuesday. And Tuesday, when I was at the supermarket, then he's like, man, you are a very pretty lady. I have not seen a pretty lady like this in a while. I'm like, is that what you tell all the women? Like, please get the F out of me. I think I don't know.
Look at Joby. The Nigerian just told Joby, you're a pretty lady. I haven't seen a pretty lady like this in a long time. And Joby told the Nigerian guy to get the fuck out of her face. Look at
That's what they tell every woman. Like,
okay, that's what they tell every woman. How do you know that man tells every woman that? You don't know that man does.
He's a man, exactly. He's a man, exactly.
Oh, he's a man. He's a man, exactly.
But Jeva says, yep, $200 is now $2,000 with interest worth.
Got that shit right.
And says a common language, that is Ebonics, no visa for travel and common currency. And Susie Jiba says, how can you ride in a Bentley and pass your country riding donkey carts? And
that's what I be saying. It's the psychopathy. And look, and they driving the Rolls Royce with fucked up roads. The roads ain't even good enough. It destroys the car. That's another thing. They don't even build a decent road to even drive on to drive an expensive car on the damn roads.
Mm-hmm. And Jiba says Africa is the prettiest girl on the ball. That's everyone wants. John Mosquito says Eastern Europe guy. A Eastern Europe guy was begging African for forgiveness on Instagram. Good luck to him. And I also see Jiba says, damn, she got some bushy eyebrows. What the? She might
Oh,
have.
talking about that. Oh, you talking about that lady, that mixed lady Joby Show? I think she's some like
Oh,
Kenyan mixed white woman or some shit.
no, yeah, I didn't even notice that. But yeah, much love, family. That's where we come to the end of today's conversation. Thank you so much for
Because
joining.
people always tell a lady, you're not Kenyan. Well, I was born in Kenya. Yeah, who's your white daddy? Your white mama? Who you talking to? Get your ass out of here.
Yeah, that has been my time this morning. Have yourself the rest part of your day. But we're coming back in a few with the Rhythm Scoop Show. So kindly come back and
That's
join
it.
us.
Let me see everybody later on the night, later on this afternoon with me and Joby, Africa Today show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
Joby got a cool hat on.